I said in this video that I did about the O blood type that everyone is out of Africa. And people went crazy telling me no. Now we got to talk about it. Hi, my name is Jeffrey Butts and I'm a doctor of dental surgery, and this channel is all about health and wellness for you to be healthy and wealthy. And today we are revisiting something, all right, that I didn't really think anything about. I didn't think about it, okay? Health and wellness, right? Eat right, sleep right, get some exercise, detoxification, and mindfulness behavior. That's what I say, health and wellness. But I came out of this book called the Eat Right for Your Type book by Dr. Peter D'Adamo. And he had said something in the beginning of the book that I was like, yeah, sure. Yeah. So I said that we all originated from Africa. But some of you said this. And said that we're not out of Africa, or that we're not all out of Africa. And that's okay, I guess, if you want to think that. But there is too much evidence that says that we are all out of Africa. And I just don't want any of my black people that have been watching us, that have been watching me, I don't want the black people that said, no, we're not all out of Africa. We're from Louisiana and the southern states of America. I need you guys to please listen to this because I want to help you just on a little history lesson, all right? So look, we have a common ancestry, okay? And I don't know if you don't want to be associated with that common ancestry, which is African. So white, black, Asian, Greek, Chinese, all of us out of Africa, y'all. And I'll prove it in a second. But if you would just calm down, breathe, because I'm sure that you really don't want to hear this. And what it seems has happened to you is that you've adopted a European point of view, which is only based on hiding the truth and hiding evidence, so that, I don't know why you would do that except for to oppress or make a different people more powerful than another people. Obviously, there's racism all around the globe, and unfortunately, it's mostly against black people. Why? I don't know, because we are beautiful and we are closer to earth and we are original man. And that evidence and that data, if people actually knew that their origins were from kings and queens of what has always been called the motherland as far as I'm concerned, well, maybe it would make people less oppressed. Your mindset, mental behavior, is crucial. You knowing your history and that you came from beautiful people is important. Now, I read the Eat Right for Your Blood Type book, and that is what I think he's Italian, Dr. D'Adamo said. That's what he said, and he backed it up with evidence. It's really on pages 4 and 5 of the book. But I had an experience that made me just know that I was like, oh, okay, we're all African. And I didn't really worry about it, but I'll tell you a quick story, all right? So in high school, I went to a good high school. My mom and dad worked very hard to get me there. In Riverdale, okay? It was in Riverdale in a New York City, all right? And my teachers, whenever there was a Black History Month or Black History something, all my teachers would look at me. Okay, Jeffrey? Okay? And everyone also looked at me like, is that okay, Jeffrey? Is that okay? And I'm young, I would be like, yeah, that's okay. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll go with that. Now, in school, the basic premise from this school that I went to was black people were slaves and a white person freed us. You're welcome. Let's continue with the lesson. So then they would continue talking about slavery and all these things, and then the slow changes that would happen in order to get out of slavery and the war that, you know, that the nation had in order to try to abolish slavery and to do other things, all right? There's so much history right here. But they were telling me if I were naive and thought that, well, my grandfather was a slave and someone benevolent and white freed him, well, then I might have a slave mentality, but I don't. My dad and mom, my dad's a real estate broker, my mom's a teacher, highly educated. My dad even has like a law degree. He doesn't use it. He's a realtor. But he always, as well as my grandfather, my father's father, they always made me feel like we're doing fine, everything's great, you're a king, a young prince, young man. And they would just give me this information that would just feed my soul, so that when I was hearing these things that actually when I went to school that kind of went against what mom, dad, grandpa, papa actually told me, I was just kind of like, I was irritated, but it didn't really stick to me. It didn't really make me feel bad, because you knowing your history and knowing that you're from kings and queens, as opposed to someone telling you that you were a slave and you came from poverty and disease and you came from animals, that is a different setup for a young mind, okay? The one that thinks that they came from slavery and disease and all that stuff originally may have a harder time breaking out to becoming great. The one who believes that they came from kings and queens may have an easier time breaking out to continue to be great, all right? So I went to Morehouse College, right? And guys, this is back in 1988. I went to Morehouse College, and the history class was talking about this archaeologist named Chick Diop, okay? He is an African archaeologist. And Chick Diop found, from the fossils that he was able to procure, he found that there was a common ancestry around the world that was of African descent. That's what he said. That's what he had found. And he kept finding it. Even in the high mountains in Russia, there was a fossil that was found, very old fossil, that had African origins. Fossils and tools that originated out of Africa were found in long, faraway places from Africa. And there was actually a fossil, a bone trail of people coming from the faraway place, tracing all the way back to Africa, that shows evidence of that migration. And all it is evidence to me. Now, I felt it deep in my bones. I didn't feel as though anybody needed to tell me that everyone came out of Africa. I didn't feel that way. I felt like that's just what it is. But listening or reading the comments of people that are saying that we're not all out of Africa, I'm not going to say it changed my mood as in it saddened me, but it definitely made me motivated to make another video to just let you guys know that you're wrong. And it's okay that you're wrong, but you're wrong. And where did you get your information from? What is the source of it? What does the source of your information want you to know? I mean, of course, there's people that are racist. There are Aryans and white supremacists. But I feel like if you have that much anger and hate in you, it must stem from some kind of fear or some kind of discomfort in yourself for you to feel like you need to purify everything and make everyone look like you, because it's just not going to happen. So just love yourself, love your neighbor, because your neighbor could save your life. Your neighbor could tell you something that you didn't know that you really needed and makes your life so much better. Chick Diop had found all this evidence, and he kept finding evidence. But what happened to Chick Diop? You're not going to believe what happened to Chick Diop. Actually, you will believe it. But, they shut his research down. They stopped him from doing any more research because they're like, that's enough, let's stop this. They suppressed his findings. Oh my goodness, just like right now, it's the year is 2023. It's July 2023, almost August. And in Florida, the governor, DeSantis, has made it so that it's illegal to teach about Black history. Now, why do you think that would be? Why would if it's just a part of history and it's something that was, why would they say, yeah, well, we're not going to talk about this? Well, my thought is that they're trying to erase history as they've been doing. The school system gives you a certain kind of history to make sure that you act in a certain kind of way. They give you the information that they want you to have so that you will act the way that they want you to act. All right, so let me get back to my story, right? So I'm in college at a historically Black institution from a high school from New York. I came out of the high school, I went to college. I learned this information that my high school never told me. I had no idea that this was what was going on. All I knew was that I felt good because my mom was a queen, my dad was a king, my grandfather, Papa, was also a king. That's all I knew. So although school was teaching me something that I was like, I don't really jive with what they're saying, but I feel like I'm getting a good education. I just didn't get it. Anyway, my first winter break, spring break, whatever it was, from college, and I had now this new information about my history or history. I went to the school, the high school, and I politely cursed out the principal, the history teacher, and the English teacher. And they half apologized for not really telling me the truth, but I said, why did you put it to me and all of my classmates like that? And they said, that is what the curriculum calls for. So that sounds like systemic racism. That's what it sounds like, systemic racism to me. And that's okay. I'm a king. I'll be okay. I know a lot of kings. They're in my family. That's okay. And I do have to deal with racist things. Even becoming a dentist, I had to deal with racist things, and it's just what it is. But my mind was not broken. It was not changed to lead me into a path that would make me feel that my history is of a people or a culture that is less than the people and the culture that is suppressing that history. Ooh, I hope you got that. Jack, did you get that? Did you get that, Jack? Because I said some things. I'm a little tired now that I just said it because there's so much information. But guys, it's okay that everyone is from one central location. It's okay that you, Chinese person, Asian person, Black person, white person, it's okay that we look different. It's all right. It's what makes us beautiful. Variety is the spice of life. But no, guys, even though I'm going to say everyone came from Africa, I'm not saying that anyone is better than anyone else. We are all the human race. Unfortunately, and possibly the thing that'll really, really unite us is some attack from another planet, and then we'll all really get together because we have to unite in order to be strong, in order to fight off the planet that wants to take our planet or something like that, because we already know that there are aliens and UFOs on Earth presently now that have been hidden by the government. But why? Why is the government releasing this information now? More than likely is because they're preparing us for something bigger. I am a doctor of dental surgery that serves the public, that sees so many things, and I'm just saying some things don't add up. For you, let the things add up. You have to know that knowledge is power. I'm just gonna grab my notes so that I'm just clear and crisp and concise for all my brothers and sisters that do not believe that we are all from the common ancestry, all right? So I'm just going to give it to you real quick, okay? So DNA analysis supports common ancestry. So extensive genetic studies show all modern humans share a common ancestry in Africa. I'm not making it up. I'm reading it because this is what's still on the internet. They haven't taken it down yet, all right? African populations exhibit greater genetic diversity, suggesting longer habitation. All right. Paleontology reveals early human fossils. Fossil discoveries of early Homo sapiens and related hominins in Africa. Fossils provide evidence of our species' emergence in Africa and subsequent migration. Now, in my last video, I said we came from Africa, and the way that the blood type changed is because they migrated into different areas, and the different areas had different resources and different air and different bacteria and microbes, and that changes our gut microbiology. And in order for us to adapt to live in those areas, the changes that happened made changes in us that differentiated our blood types from O to A to B, and then eventually AB. And that's in the book, and it just made sense to me, okay? So archaeology traced migratory paths. So ancient tools, artifacts, and settlements help trace human migration from Africa. They found some tools, like I said, the guy in Russia mountains that froze to death or died in the mountains, he had tools that they look like originated in Africa, okay? And then there's a scientific consensus, except for in Florida with DeSantis. There's a scientific consensus that says the convergence of evidence from DNA analysis, paleontology, and archaeology supports the out of Africa theory. The theory remains a widely accepted and plausible explanation for human origins, all right? So we've got ongoing scientific exploration, right? Scientific theories are subject to refine with new evidence. And please, let's refine, but let's not erase, okay? Let's not change what we already have. So my brothers and sisters that look like me, that believe that we are not from Africa, please stop saying that to people. Don't say that. I love that you typed in the comments, and you're free to do that, but it's just not true. And it's okay that you believe that, but just figure out where you're getting your evidence from. Who is telling you that? Because they don't love you like I do. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Oh, see, my phone timed out. Hang on. All right, so my guy, Chick Diop, right? He was alive from 1923 to 1986. So by the time I learned about Chick Diop, he had already passed. And I learned about him in 1988. And he was advocating for African origins only based on evidence. He wasn't trying to prove a theory that he had. He was just doing work, and the work was showing him what was happening, all right? He had a multidisciplinary approach. So his work blends insights from multiple disciplines, including history, linguistics, archaeology, anthropology, and that is to build a comprehensive picture of African history and culture. I mean, it really goes on. It really goes on. You know what? I'm going to put this that I'm reading, I'm going to put this in the description or the show notes of this video so you can read it yourself, because I don't need to read it to you. I don't need to read this to you. You can read it yourself if you want to know. But just so you know, okay? Just so you know, we're all from Africa. It's okay. Now, no, we're not all from Africa yesterday. We're all from Africa millions and millions of years ago. And it's okay. But what I would love for you to get from this video is that loving yourself and loving others is going to be the thing that brings us into a brighter, better future. That's all I'm saying, all right? So Everyone that wants to go crazy, go nuts in the comment section. Go ahead. If everybody's still wanting to tell me how we are not from Africa and we're all from Louisiana, that's okay. Put it in the comment section. Please put it in the comment section. But if you are also agreeing with me, go ahead and put that in the comment section too, and send it to any of your friends, okay? Send it to anyone, all right? That's really all I wanted to say about that, guys. I love you. Thank you so much for listening and giving me your attention. Please like and subscribe. Please share it with any friend that you got. And let's talk about some other things later.
You may have heard the phrase out of Africa. There were two out of Africas. Homo erectus, about a little over 1.5 million years ago, left Africa and colonized Asia and Europe and Indonesia as well. The second out of Africa is very recent, probably less than 100,000 years ago. If you look molecularly, if you look at the molecules of modern human races, they are astonishingly uniform, and such variation as there is mostly within Africa. So that suggests that the deepest divides of cousinship in our species are within Africa. The whole of the rest of the world is a very, very recent branch off the human species. If you look at the amount of variation in the human species genetically, it's extremely low. We are a very, very uniform species compared to other species, even chimpanzees. It's been said that if you take two chimpanzees from the same forest in Africa, they're likely to be more different from each other genetically than any two humans in the world. It's a bit surprising when you consider that we, to our eyes, at least look more different. But the genetics is very clear that we are an astonishingly uniform species. We are all one species, one very uniform species, and we originate very recently in Africa. We are all Africans.